Whether you want to admit it or not, controllers are truly how so many people are interacting with their games nowadays, whether that be single player games or multiplayer games. Some games are just better on a controller. I know, I do believe that in certain competitive titles, aim assist on controller and keyboard and mouse should not collide. I think that these are two separate things and two different issues, and I think these two should not be combined. But I still use a controller every now and again if I'm playing some single player game, if I'm emulating, if I just want to chill back and play a nice little racing game, I'm going to use a controller. And controllers nowadays are very expensive. Trying to find a very basic Xbox or PlayStation controller, it's about $60. And you're going to eventually get that stick drift, you're going to eventually have some issue, or it's just not going to be that high quality. There's going to be a lot of features that a lot of other controllers can get you, like the GameSir G7 SE. For $45, I think this is the best controller you should get for competitive gaming. For complete transparency, this was sent out to me by GameSir. This does not affect my review at all. I probably was going to buy this anyways. I was actually looking at this for the past couple of months in my Amazon cart, so this is something I'm interested in. We all know what it's like, that stick drift, you know, after you start playing for a while, that left or right stick just slowly starts to drift. Your aim isn't going to be as good, your movement isn't going to be as fluid. And if you're competitive gaming on this, that's an issue. I have worked with competitive streamers who have 4 or 5 controllers constantly on deck. This eliminates the need for that through the use of Hall effect joysticks. Hall effect joysticks is truly the future of controller gaming. I don't know why we haven't moved to Hall effect already on everything. Xbox, Microsoft, Sony, gotta get on that. But for now, GameSir is really leading the way. Honestly, if this controller costs double the price, I still would say this is worth it because of this one feature, meaning you're not gonna have to change or buy a new controller. You can use this one and it will be what you're using for years to come. But I'm gonna compare this to the controller that I've been using for the past 6-7 years. I think I got it in about 2017, and that is my Xbox One Elite controller. This is the first Elite controller, which is the better Elite controller, but it's not perfect. And here are some of the things that I like more about this and some things I don't. Number 1, this has 1000 hertz polling rate. That means that every 1 millisecond you're gonna get it registered, compared to the Xbox Elite controller, which has only 250 hertz. And 250 hertz is only with an overclock. Without an overclock, you're only able to do 125 hertz, meaning that this is 8 times as fast. That's right, for cheaper than a standard Xbox controller, you're gonna get an 8 times faster controller, which means you're gonna be 8 times better in games. And obviously we mentioned the Hall effect, but I'm gonna talk about this again. These have Hall effect. What this also allows in the software, you can do raw stick info. We're gonna get into the software a little bit later, but what this seems like is this seems kind of like motion sync on a mouse sensor, if you know what that is, kind of smoothing it. So I think that allows it to get that true info instead of kind of processing it a little bit, which if you like it or not, cool. That does seem like a good feature though. And I do have raw stick info on, and I do seem to not really notice the difference between the two. Also, you don't have to have a dead zone, which that means even if I'm moving my stick just a little bit, I'm gonna get that feedback instead of having to point it to a certain position. I think dead zones are stupid, and I think that they shouldn't really be a thing for controllers. Also with stick drift, my Elite controller has never had any issues with stick drift, but my DualSense that I got probably in like 2022, in like a month, it got stick drift. It sucked. I literally threw it in the closet and I haven't touched it since because I got stick drift. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this at all. And where I really think this thing does shine, especially as a PC controller, is the software. You can remap every single button on this thing. You can remap these buttons, which are super clicky. Wait, I need you to hear this. They're so clicky. They're like kind of like little blue switches for a keyboard. But the GameSir Nexus application has so many different things. You can have 3 different profiles saved to this. I have an FPS and a racing profile. The FPS profile allows it so that my trigger sticks, as soon as I'm pressing them, they are activated. And as soon as I let go, it's removed. This is really similar to my Wooting 60HE's rapid trigger function, which means that as soon as I'm pressing down on a key, it's activated. And as soon as I let go 0.1 millimeters, the key is deactivated, allowing for insanely fast and precise activations. This is what this has too. And then for racing mode, it's just based off what the power of the acceleration and the brake is. on how much I'm actually hitting the controller or hitting the sticks. There are some downsides though. For this 1000 hertz mode that I was talking about earlier, if you want to have the 1000 hertz mode, you are going to actually lose your 3.5mm jack. I am not using it though. If you're on a computer, just plug your headphones straight into the back of your computer. That's what I'm doing. So for me, this was a no issue at all. I didn't really see it as an issue, and I don't think it really is. But because I also don't believe that on an Xbox you can actually run that high of a polling rate. I think you're stuck to 125 hertz. As well as the other real drawback that I've noticed is this. You have to have a wired connection, but they do give you like a very, very long USB Type-C to USB-A cable. So for me, I plugged it in, and even with my computer being fairly far away from my actual, where I'm sitting at my desk, I had no issue. This cable worked fine. I was able to lean back. I was basically able to throw it to the wall. If I was given $45 and told to pick out a controller, this would be the one I'd get. You can get this on Amazon. There will be an affiliate link down below. I think you can find this even cheap and on TikTok Shop as well. If you are a TikTok Shop fan, be careful on there, I guess. I don't really know much about it. I've ordered some stuff, but that's because it was cheap. But definitely check out this on Amazon. There's also a black model. I decided to get the white one though, just to kind of switch it up. Let me know down below if you use a controller, one, what you use and what kind of games you play on it. I think that you should definitely be checking this out though. If you have enjoyed the video, hit the like button down below, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.